I used to listen to good podcasts when everything was fine, but now I listen to this podcast because I've lost my mind. My gym partner is a podcast. My gym partner is a podcast. Yeah!
Bullshark, porcupine, I don't know what. Doing this podcast is a pain in the...
I need pictures of Jake Spider Monkey.
Oh, who is this? Who's on our podcast today? That's a different voice.
Yeah, our pal Lucy couldn't make it, sad to say.
She's too busy hanging out with Goku right now.
But
I wish that were me.
we have our other good friend, and you might recognize from the thumbnail art we do, Ali.
I have always been here in the shadows behind you.
The
Drawing
shadow
personas.
The shadow ruler of my gym partner's a podcast.
Besides Jake, of course.
Besides Jake, Ali, I'm glad you're here. What's it like finally getting to watch a monkey show?
Thank you. I'm very glad that they finally get to voice my maybe concerns on monkey show, because usually when I have to do the thumbnail, I am given the episode and I watch it like at double speed. Like maybe not yesterday, like last time I had to draw the thumbnail, like choosing a cool frame, a funny frame. I accidentally started watching it normally and I was like, oh god, what I'm doing.
This isn't right. I shouldn't be doing this.
But now it's okay. It's all right because we're doing it together. We're watching this together as part of our curse.
This is what we call, like, this is just normal. This is normal life. Watching my gym partner's a monkey and just going through the episode. Just going through it.
And speaking of just going through episodes, these two episodes, well, I don't think it's right to compare them both with each other. One is the other is You know?
Yeah, first episode we got one called the poop scoop. it's a
which is not just about an actual like scooper that scoops poop. That's what I thought at first.
yeah.
I thought it will be something about ice cream, like a very dry ice cream joke.
God, just
It's not a very...
more lunchroom shenanigans.
But thankfully,
Yeah.
it's not that. Less thankfully, though, it's this. It's a newsroom episode. We got the journalism aspect here, and we love our journalism. Where people get taken out of context and they're embarrassed by that, and everybody disregards what is actually the truth just for the sake of gossip. It's fun. It's funny, right? It's funny.
Yeah, we get to see Jake Spider Monkey wearing, like, a little news
I think what happens
outfit.
to this lion child is it's like very mean, and it feels like it's bad, and maybe we should feel bad for him, but I do not feel bad for him. I feel like this suffering is justified. When I see these little animal creatures that I also maybe despise, maybe not. I have not thought very much about it. I think it's funny. I think it's funny that this.
That
I
they
don't know
make him
why this
suffer.
child deserves suffering, but he does.
It's like you mentioned before, Ali. Like it's kind of a purgatory. It's just a suffering ground for Adam Lion, and we kind of see that in this episode, because we're back to the roots of the show. I think we're finally getting an episode where
It's
just
focused
good.
on the school aspects.
It's focused on. It's not about damn mustaches, right? It's not about It's not about like some fantastical concept. It's just about the school.
Surprisingly, it's not about poop.
Surprise!
Well.
We can't say that's not completely not about poop.
But let's get into it, shall we? We start
Yeah,
the
yeah.
episode, and it starts out very abruptly. It's just very in your face. Like Jake is in a news editor outfit, the tie, the ragged dress shirt, the fedora, and is just yelling at Adam and all his other friends, but mostly at Adam to just get to work and write out the paper.
It's interesting seeing the crew because like the only people who are in like this newsroom is like, you know, the main crew, Windsor, Lupe, Ingrid, and Slips, and, you know, respectively Jake and Adam Lyon. But it's interesting seeing them interact as like a unit,
They're
like
working
trying to
together.
accomplish a goal. Yeah, yeah. It's
Like-
something like wild.
Like, I don't think I've ever like really heard Ingrid interact with Windsor and say like, here's the load, Windsor, and Windsor just drives away with a forklift. But
Character development.
or just
That
like
is-
characterization of some variety.
That's a bit of a revelation, huh? Because I don't think I really... Yeah. So when the fuck does Lupe and Windsor ever talk to each
No,
other? I
Ingrid.
mean, like... Ingrid, sorry, but... It does seem like... It feels like, you know, like the crew is divided, you know? It's like... The two boys or whatever, they talk to each other. Slips and Windsor. They
have their dynamic where Windsor is the voice of reason, Slips is the calm but soothing voice of just blasé. Hey man, whatever works, man. Go with the flow.
And like Ingrid and Lupe
Or the two girls.
Are the two girls, and each of these are a set, but they aren't really a whole. But in this episode, we get to see them as a whole, as a unit, as I said before.
Naturally, we have to acquire some kind of unity to torture the lion child.
Yeah, how could that be achieved without, like, a level of just cooperation and effort on the schools and all the characters of this show's like part? How could we accomplish the goal of making Adam Line miserable without everybody's input, right?
Yeah, but you know that input happens for like half of a minute. They're all like trying to get out the school newspaper, which is new information now. The school has a newspaper. They get it out, they pile it on, and Jake is very pleased, and he quickly takes it into the bathroom.
And he just wipes his ass with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about how it's established that in the universe, these little animal children do not use, like, I don't know, regular human
toilet paper.
Toilet paper, they use newspaper.
It's too expensive. I mean, why would they get it?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's treated as a luxury in this school.
It's not like animals have the same, like, you know, rights as humans. It's not like they have human rights to have toilet paper.
There's a lot of implications in the first bit, which, like, we've gotten the sense before that none of the animals really read, because there was the gag before about like the textbooks. They just eat the textbooks, and here, instead of like reading the newspapers, they're just shitting on the newspapers.
Wipe your ass with fucking sandpaper.
Well, you know, and they do other things with it. Adam is kind of just inquiring, like, what do you mean nobody's reading this? Why do we make so much of it then? And you show Jake coming out with the newspaper. He's used it,
I feel like
Apparently, Lupe likes to line her nest with it. Windsor likes to make bedding out of it. Slips makes little paper hats with it.
yeah, that was a little
They're
funny.
funny. That was funny. You said the word funny and it was funny.
You see, that was really funny, is what that was.
I make funny paper hats.
But they definitely don't read these newspapers.
Which, I think, the beginning, this joke really sets up a paradox for us for, like, the entire, like, structure of this episode. Because what is the entire, like, I mean, we'll get into it, but what is the entire purpose of this episode later on?
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. It mixes its like main motivations. I guess it works for like the kind of story they're telling of corruption and whatnot in the press. I mean, it's not like we had those like tales of corruption and such before. But basically, everyone's got the newspapers gathered. But then Mr. Mandrill comes in, sadly proclaiming that the school is done with the journalism program. And I find that funny. They still call it the journalism program. They make these newspapers. They like use all this ink to like write on it. Like Adam was being rushed to write something for the school newspaper. We don't ever know what he was writing exactly, but it was just
maybe they read it before they use it. I mean,
do you think the ink has like? Does the ink make the paper worth less? Does the ink make the value go down?
No, they're using ink. That's more cost. I don't understand.
I feel like maybe nobody's told them that toilet paper exists.
No. They know that toilet paper exists, and we see by the end, but not to spoil it. They go through all this trouble to make newspapers, but it's getting cut back, for good reason, I suppose, because Mr. Mandrill says we can't do the journalism anymore. Apparently, it costs less to have sawdust instead of newspapers to wipe our leavings and our various messes is the exact phrase they use.
How are we going to clean up our various messes? How? I don't know how, but
it's all very tragic. Mr. Mandrill seems to be a big proponent of the paper because it's eco-friendly, man, and these bigwigs just want to tear us down with their economics and whatnot.
Is it really?
These bigwigs just want to like take away our right to wipe our ass
with newspapers that we write on with ink. But I mean, it's a fair point that they have other uses for it. Where would Slips make his newspaper hats with?
See, that makes sense.
This makes me think that I don't really know how like Slips. He's a what's the name of this animal?
He's a python.
This funny worm. Yeah, python.
Funny worm.
I forget. Like, he's a python. I don't really know how python snakes go to the bathroom. I mean, you know how they poop. I don't know. I do not have that information.
Maybe they poop out of the end of their tail.
No. They have a little slit. It's like around the midsection of their body.
Oh, animal facts with Renee.
Animal facts with Renee.
They have a slit in their body, the cloaca, I believe. And
yeah, but it's at like the end of the tail, right?
It's not at the end of the tail.
Well, they're related to worms, right?
They're not related to worms. They're reptiles.
No, what I mean, that's what a worm is, right?
I don't have enough time in the world to expound on this in a little animal facts corner. But moving on.
Yeah.
We
Moving
know
on,
we
I'm
know
sorry,
where we know where snakes poop now. So they're all packing it in. They're going for a group hug. But Adam's like, why don't we actually write stuff? Why don't we write stories in the paper?
Why don't we, like, try and get, like, some sort of reason to read the paper?
We're going to write a call-out post on the newspaper.
It's going to write a call-out post on who would be a good character to call out, and it's my gym partner's monkey, Mr. Hornbill. Yeah,
Mr.
how about
Yeah.
that?
But
Mr. Hornbill, awful pervert, needs to be fired.
oh man, there's some dark implications there already. But with like the next episode, I think that's like even more so. So Adam wants to write actual stories, news, but Jake takes it as an opportunity to just write gossip and stuff. He doesn't want to actually write news. Oh wait, I forgot. Before that, they're like, why would we read the news? What's the point when we have the magic box, which is the television?
That was very
That
on
was
the
like
nose joke.
1 second. Yeah, it's like, oh, television bad.
Television bad.
No.
It's destroying the written newspaper. That's the kind of message that we needed.
It felt very outdated.
Your brain is broken because you watch a TV.
You're just like these stupid animals that don't know how to read.
You're basically just wasting your time. Television. Awful.
I want to see if they ever make. God no, but in the thought, if they were to make a reboot of this show, that joke will have been about social media.
It would have been about social media, and also, if there was a reboot of the show, it would be like a crowdfunded show on like Fredinator.
Anyway, Adam wants to tell the real biting stories, like why are the larvas pupating in the lunchroom, sloppy joes, wormy joes? Why is that happening? But everyone's just bored out of their mind. They just want gossip, and Jake jumps at the opportunity to just Adam says something offhandedly where like to get him to wake up. It's like, or maybe the larvae are pupating because the lunch lady's having a torrid love affair with somebody.
Yeah, and then that's where we get into basically like just the true like root of the episode, the core, which is, oh, Adam Lyon has a crush on
The lunch
people,
lady, or
on
like
the lunch lady.
all the women staff in the school could get basically like written into this gossipy narrative. Jake at first just says, oh, it's just gonna be an anonymously sourced a blind think piece,
But it's obviously like Adam Lyon because Jake
writes out it's this human student at Charles Darwin Middle School has found a sense of infatuation with the elephant-like lunch lady.
I mean, they even take a picture of him and put it on the paper next to the article.
I like how they say elephant-like and not elephant. It
Could have been a tapir.
could have been a tapir. But also, one lunch lady, one human. Awful joke.
But so the rumors keep escalating where where Adam Lyons says, "But I don't like the lunch lady." And Jake's like, "Oh, you said you like the lunch lady," and I quote. And this just leads to Adam being more defensive, and Jake writing more about him being in love with like these like extra staff members. Adam tries to go to Mr. Mandrill about this, but they're making way too much money from advertising, because that was the whole idea of the newspaper. Like,
I can appreciate little beings that thrive on drama, that just like for this chaos.
I don't understand how this newspaper makes its money through advertisement. Like, do students buy the paper?
no, I think it's like, actual like corporations, like Dirt Nuts. Remember that product?
Yeah, Dirt Nuts.
Yeah, they probably advertise on the school newspaper, as well
Probably
as
right.
as well as other things. But yeah, that's where they were making the money to keep the school newspaper going. So Mr. Mandrill is just alright, okay with this, because Adam is like, Jake is printing lies about me, and Mr. Mandrill is like, oh, that's a pretty stark accusation. Do you have any proof? Like, did you not say this thing you said in the article? And it's, of course, is because Adam technically said it. It's not like he didn't say it, so he can't say he didn't say it. So
You see, it's not really a lie.
and that's the basis for this episode now.
The whole thing just kind of goes by. It's just an episode with not much to it, it feels like.
It's just a lot of secondhand embarrassment, which this show thrives on usually, but here it's just very frustrating that he even goes to Principal Pixie Frog, because Jake's like, "Oh, look over there. What do you see?" And then Adam sees Mrs. Warthog walking, and of course he says that out loud. And Jake takes that as an opportunity to gossip that Adam is liking not only Mrs. Tusk, Coach Gill at one point, but also Mrs. Warthog here.
And
It ends up with the joke of him having a crush on every goddamn teacher.
And Principal Pixie Frog, as he's talking to him, as Adam's trying to get the paper taken down, Principal Pixie Frog is like, "Wow, aren't you the little Romeo? Just go and get in with my secretary. You're a lucky man, Mr. Lion."
please stop, my gym partner's a monkey. I can't take it.
I don't appreciate these kind of things where you just have to like. I'm just fed up. I'm fed up with this.
Anyway, the episode.
He tries to get Principal Pixie Frog to, like, he tries to convince him, like, "Oh, if you don't take them down, I'll sue." But there's something pretty funny here where he's like, normally I would fall under such threats of litigation, but my integrity to uphold the First Amendment, the freedom of the press, outweighs any fears of lawsuits.
But anyway, the episode ends up like getting to a point to where, Adam is, fed up with these accusations that he's being faced with by the paper and Jake's his little stories, his little story that he's making up about him. So Adam says, I'm going to write lies about you I'm going to.
I like Jake's responses here as he's saying, like, I'm going to embarrass you. What if I write something really, really embarrassing? And he's just like, I don't get embarrassed. I love attention.
It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt me, Adam.
I have nothing to lose, Adam.
You can't do anything to me.
You can't expose anything that I have exposed about myself.
Everything I do to you has
Adam?
already...
You cannot ruin me, Adam. Adam, you cannot hurt me with your little human paws. Whatever you do to me, it will not hurt me or affect me in any meaningful way, Adam. Remember that.
Remember, in my world, Adam, you are nothing.
But then Adam writes a false rumor, quote unquote, about Jake having butt implants, cheek implants.
Cheek implants.
That's a
Cheek
cheap
implants.
thing to write. Like I feel like he could have come up with something better. But all right, go off, man. Just go off for like the elephant in the room.
But Jake is really sad, and Adam's like, well, I'm sorry for lying, but you know, like I thought that you wouldn't like mind that sort of thing. But it's like, no, don't you understand? It's true, and everybody knows I have cheek implants now. And it turns to his butt, and you get a zoom in of like his wrinkly butt that looks like a inflatable pool toy with like the news printed on it.
It's quite a shot that we get. And then Adam, he's just like, well, I didn't even mean your butt. I meant the cheeks on your face, which don't know.
But those were implants too, apparently.
And
everyone starts going off on Adam. They're like, of course. It's like, yeah, way to go, Adam. You know, it's one thing to lie about people, but actually meaning to tell a lie and then telling the truth and exposing someone, that's even worse. Which, like, you know, fair dues. You shouldn't have exposed Jake's ample posterior woes.
I just don't think that he should have wrote about Jake's ass in the newspaper to begin with. It might have been what they call inappropriate and not good for the school press.
Yeah. Also low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit as well.
Low-hanging.
He knows how much his friend Jake values his own butt, and
he even grabs it at the start of the episode.
Yeah, to set up for the payoff here, I suppose. But even Principal Pixie Frog is like, look, you know, I know what I said earlier, but if you're right, you know, this is character assassination. This is character defamation. We could get sued for this, like, actually. And so,
I'm sorry, but freedom of the press does not. It doesn't trump this.
Even Mr. Mandrill's explaining that, like, you know, there's freedom of the press, and, like, you know, that covers gossip and stuff. But when you're defaming someone, that, you know, that's just like a breach of ethics. And Adam doesn't really fight this. He's just like, oh damn, all right. And they bribe. I mean, they give a generous money donation to Jake, and they hand him some fresh toilet paper with dollar signs.
And he's rich.
Filthy, stinking rich. Get it? But
I'm ready to move on from this episode.
well, wait. There's one last thing where Adam promises to not defame Jake anymore if Jake promises to not print any more, to write any more lies. And of course, it cuts to Jake on the news on the magic picture box, saying that he loves every single women staff member in Charles Darwin Middle School. And you'd think like, oh, it should just end like that. but it zooms in on Adam and it's like, oh, great. And then it zooms out and it's with all the female staff members there. It's like, do
Like,
tell,
wow.
Adam.
Tell us about how you feel,
It's like,
child.
it's a messed up episode. It doesn't really have anything new to say. Any ideas about corruption and stuff were already handled with the hall monitor story. Any ideas about Principal Pixie Frog having to deal with lawsuits, or like his character was better handled in the very next episode we're gonna talk about. What did this episode do besides really force on us the idea of a kid having a crush on the adult women staff members of this school, and everybody leading into that?
They're also animals.
They're also animals.
That's pretty much all it did. Allie, do you see any meaningful insight in this episode?
Pub joke title funny, haha.
And there we have it.
I guess it was all worth it then, just for the title poop scoop.
Yeah, we had to. Maybe they make the title first.
You know what? With this episode, I'm willing to bet they did. Next episode.
So this episode is taking a turn for the better, I think. In reference to that first episode, we got Leaf of Absence, and
this is a Principal Pixie Frog centric episode, and we get a lot of insight into his character, more so into his deep-seated fear of being sued. And I think this one's a good one. Put this one in the good books.
I think we have 2 bullet points that about Mr. Little Frogman, that he likes money and he's also likes getting into lawsuits.
Well, he doesn't like getting into them.
Yeah, he would hate to get into a lawsuit, but he doesn't want them.
But carry on with your idea.
Yeah.
You got something going here?
Yeah. What for like the 3 seconds that we see this dream scene of him hugging a bag of money, and the bag of money talking to him as if he were married, made me think of Mr. Krabs, and my little mind immediately thought, what if there were shipping between Little Frogman, Principal Pixie, and Mr. Krabs? And I thought that could be a possibility.
Well,
it's giving me a strange feeling. Sorry to interrupt you, Renee, but any SpongeBob character could exist in the My Gym Partners a Monkey universe.
That's very true, and they would probably, I was gonna say, be the same size as Principal Pixie Frog, because they are that small in real life. So Mr. Krabs and Principal Pixie Frog would be on the same level, and I think they could have a beautiful relationship together. That's something to think about, you know? I bet you didn't think today that you would be shipping Principal Pixie Frog and Mr. Krabs, but you are now.
I definitely didn't expect any of that today.
But all of you are.
Every person out there is probably looking at this ship and saying, wow, I want some of that. Anyway.
Let's actually start with what started the episode. We're, of course, in a courtroom. We're already at the verdict, where apparently Principal Pixie Frog is being tried for negligence in the school because little elephant fella, he's suing for not enough elephant grass being planted in the school, and that making for a, quote, hostile learning environment.
Without elephant grass, this boy would starve, and it is Principal Pixie Frog's responsibility to keep that from happening as the principal of the school.
So, the verdict is made. He loses the district funding, which is in a big money bag, and he can't believe that this is happening. No,
Please.
But then he wakes up, and he's in his bed, and he's with his big money bag, who he loves, and he's talking to like his lover.
A big money bag that
talks back as well.
That talks back and Principal Pixie Frog says that he loves this big money bag, and it responds with, "I don't think I'm ready for that."
Love is too strong of a word.
I don't know if I can say it.
It's just like, well, all right. No,
That's
that's fine. You know, I'm just whatever you're comfortable with.
I just wanted to let you know how I feel.
And then he cuddles his big money bag. But then that dream, I mean, it's another dream fake out. He was in the courtroom, cuddling with the judge, but the judge gives his sentence anyway, and they take away his district funding. No!
It's so sad because he basically at this moment loses his identity. His entire persona being like, avoiding lawsuits.
He had a spotless record apparently of avoiding all lawsuits in his school, and
did he now?
Yeah. He goes into his office. Miss Warthog is there. He's basically telling her how he doesn't want to hear anything because he's depressed. It's like, don't give me cancel all my appointments, all my messages for the rest of the school year, because we got sued by that elephant kid. And because he wanted cashews, and
he says cashews.
Cashews, and I think this is funny because this is the joke that I've been thinking of. Like the cashew joke.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned it a couple times before.
Famous "My Gym Partner's a Monkey" cashew joke, and I think it's interesting that this is not a one-episode joke. I had no idea that they used it in other episodes of this one, and I just find that interesting that they found it worthy. To continue.
What other episodes did they use it in? Because I thought it was just in this one.
No, they use it in the episode where Adam and Jake have to be on top of the flagpole.
Oh yeah, that's a future episode.
Yeah, that's a future.
I did remember that, I think. Yeah, they did use that joke. But I like the emphasis on how cashews are the most expensive nut.
It's a complete lie, by the way. Macadamias are actually the most expensive nut.
I have never heard of that nut before.
You never heard of macadamias before?
No.
They're delicious. They're the most decadent, delicious nut I've ever had in my life.
I hear the most expensive nut is pistachio, which is a shame because they're the best.
Yeah.
But they're pretty expensive, but all of these pale in comparison to macadamia nuts. If you want to get a pound of macadamia nuts, that's gonna cost you $20.
Wow, I didn't know this was Nut Corner with Gert.
I just know a lot about Nut.
You know, right now you could be cloning me, and that such nut could not exist, but I cannot deny nor.
How have you not heard of macadamias before? You
I
never
keep
heard of
thinking you're saying macadamia, like you know.
My
Like
hero macadamia nut.
my
Yes.
hero macadamia? But you never had like a macadamia like chocolate cookie or something? Like something
Oh.
with macadamias in it?
I love white chocolate macadamia nut cookies.
Okay, well let's not get crazy here.
Oh.
Let's not put white chocolate in it and just ruin.
What do you mean? That it goes so well with white chocolate.
I mean, white chocolate's okay, but regular chocolate would be better.
Nah, it goes great with macadamia nuts.
White chocolate is just nonsense. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have to like bring this discourse up now on the podcast of all places, but I just think white chocolate tastes like ass. It's too sweet. It's disgusting. It's like if somebody was like, "Ooh, milk chocolate isn't like shitty enough. Let's make it even worse. Let's make it even more sweet and inedible."
They taste the same to me, but so those like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they feel the same to me. I have no taste anymore.
I don't even drink sodas anymore.
I don't even eat or sleep.
Point
anymore.
is, macadamia
Anyway.
nuts are the most expensive nut. But
No, well, I mean, according to Principal Pixie Frog, though.
according to Principal Pixie Frog, cashews are the most expensive. And because he got sued, several tons of cashews over this landmark court case. He's going home. He's depressed. Miss Warthog wasn't listening at all. She was on her headphones. She was putting her AirPods on. Oh God.
Oh God.
And,
Oh no.
And we cut
Who's
to
that?
we cut to Jake and Adam. There's a really just like funny scene here that epitomizes their relationship. Jake is just surrounding Adam as Adam is just boredly walking forward, and he just keeps saying, "I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not."
He's just hopping around Adam. I don't know. I guess this is just like what things are like when like Jake isn't just completely like fucking up Adam's life. He's just making it like slightly more annoying to be alive.
Where it's a slow day for Jake, where when they haven't been like goaded into a wacky adventure where he could embarrass Adam or something. He has to
Adam
just
looks like dead inside. Like his eye, like his expression is like, God, I wish I was not here.
He just looks so sad. And it's kind of funny that like, sorry, but it's kind of funny that like, you know, we've already gotten past the episode where Adam goes back to human school. He did not fit in there. He didn't like it. But also, at Charles Darwin, he is also sad and miserable. So I think maybe this show is pretty true to the middle school experience. It's going to suck no matter where you're at, because it's middle school.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I didn't think we'd get there with this episode, but it's pretty right. And honestly, this just goes to show how worse it could be when you got a strict principal, because in comes our new principal character, substitute principal, Wolverine, from the X-Men.
Yeah, I did know. I also did not know that was an actual animal. I just know Wolverine from, you know, like Wolfman, haha, with Marvel, with he's from Marvel. Yes, he's. But I did not know that it was a real animal. I did not know.
Nah,
You've
yeah,
never seen a Wolverine.
They're little buggers. They're little creatures that they bite mean.
Yeah, like, I think it's funny that if you look up Wolverine, I mean, you're kind of right, Allie. Like, there's no reason for you to think that this animal would exist, because when I looked up Wolverine on Google Images, there's literally only one picture, and it is very far down.
Oh.
The only guy, it's just a bunch of pictures of Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, the comics Wolverine. This says something, huh?
It says something about how media has affected our brains, totally infected, more
You're
like.
not immune
Yeah.
to media.
Magic box? Anyone?
Match
Magic talking picture box? Anyone? Hello?
picture of TV in night, family watching TV in 2001.
The machine. The
Next to-
Nickelodeon.
Next to picture of an entire family huddled around a computer. Nothing has changed, right? Question mark. It's still the same. Fuck, where were we?
Principal Wolverine. He's here,
and he's going to bite Adam on his fucking ass. He's gonna bite Adam and Jake on their butt. Talks.
Yeah, that's a thing they repeat, which was definitely a thing that they repeated in the advertisements for this episode, and what you would repeat to your little brother and sister every day.
This is the thing
after
that
watching
you would.
this.
This was the thing that you'd say to your best friend in elementary school, Luke, on the playground, and you would say this to Luke every single day on repeat, and it would just be so funny.
I'm glad we're sharing our experiences here, our universal experiences.
You'd go by the tree on the outskirts of the playground and say, "Are you gonna bite you on the buttocks?" And you would just laugh and laugh.
Just laugh and laugh and laugh. So Principal Wolverine, he's set up. He's a substitute principal because Principal Pixie Dust. That's what he calls him. Is too much of a pansy, and he's at home wallowing.
Yeah, Principal Pixie Frog is just at home, completely broken. He's not the same frog that he once was.
We get a montage.
What do we get a montage of?
Well, not really a montage. We just get like a bunch of animal students passing Principal Wolverine, and he's just taking like the article, telling Lupe not to fly, and she waddles as a bird would, and says that thing again. Allie, what does she say? What does she say, Allie? What does she say when she's been grounded and has to walk? What does she angrily mutter under her breath?
Yeah, what's the thing that makes complete sense for her to say when she's angry?
I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. Do you remember the part where Lupe was like walking away angry?
Just grumbling, Lunes,
Oh yes, this. Oh my god. I thought you were talking about a totally different scene. I confused Lupe with like the
Ingrid.
yes, like yeah. For some reason, when like she gets like grounded, when the little dog man tells him like, "Hey, don't fly, no flying," and she's like, she just like goes like, "Lunes, martes, miércoles." I'm like, what are you saying? Why are you saying it like days of the week in Spanish? I mean, I have a theory because I Spanish. Like I think Can I say a curse word? Is that legal in a podcast?
Yes, you can
sure,
say
why
curse
not?
words.
Go the
All
fuck
right,
off.
like you see,
Yeah, fucking do it.
the last, the last word, miércoles. That's like Wednesday. It sounds a little like how we say shit in Spanish, which
Mierda.
is
Oh,
mierda. Yeah, so maybe that was the joke, but still, it's like really weird and like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like,
I didn't even
maybe
think
it's-
about that.
maybe-
I think Lucy did say that maybe at one point.
Maybe it's kind of like, she's like muttering the days of the week because it's like it's always like this, Like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every
For
day.
me, it's always like
It's like
it.
like every day with this shit, Like every day with this shit. Maybe? I don't know.
It was just so out of left field. I was like, all right, man.
It's either that or, the creators of the show or the writers wrote that and they didn't care.
Or it could
About-
have been ad-libbed by the voice actress. It could have been any of those things. But I think we can all agree, it's just dumb. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's get a move on.
Move on, because Principal Wolverine pulls the nose ring out of a cow student. Bull Sharkowski passes by. Principal Wolverine's like, no music! And he pulls out his headphones that he needs to breathe.
And
He has to like jump at the pond like hastily or he will die.
And
Bull Shark is in mortal danger.
But I find that funny that like now he has to like go in the waters. He didn't have. He had certain freedoms to walk around, which like I guess some aquatic students. I don't know why not a lot of aquatic students just choose to be in the water. Why they choose to walk on land.
I don't know either. Maybe it's like some of the classes are like only available on like land,
Not
But also,
enough
like-
of them have like fish tubes, because like we've seen in some classes there's just like one fish tube for one desk and like one fish student is in there. So maybe some fish students have to make do and be on land.
Perhaps there just were opportunities on land than underwater.
More
There might-
more startling implications here.
You'll get your homework wet.
That's also the big reason, is because they like to use paper, but they can't have paper in the underwater. I recall there being an episode that focuses on the underwater lands, the underwater halls of Charles Darwin.
I think so, and I think it might be a bit closer than we know.
I look forward to that.
Are bugs people in this show?
Yes, sometimes. There have been bugs that talk. There was a worm. There was the Arctic that talked.
There's an ant.
There's the
Don't
ant.
forget James Ant.
How could I forget James Ant?
I just remember like when like the principal little frog man is
Well-
eating
well,
out of his
well-
cheese bucket.
We'll get to that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Quickly enough. Adam and Jake are just watching this in horror behind a bush, and they're like, "Oh no, how could he just do this?" And Miss Warthog is there as well. She hates this new principal as well, because, quote, now she has to actually work.
That's so awful. I like how Adam responds to this, because he just he puts his hand on her and goes, "No." Like this is the worst thing ever.
So Miss Warthog, she tells them to go after school, but Miss Principal Wolverine just orders her to get a cup of Joe, and she's like, "No, no, go now, now."
You have to get out of here. You have to save us from this awful man. We have to bring back the one and only PF.
So they're in the bog. They're in the swamp, which this makes me wonder. It's an official address in this swamp. He's got a little mailbox. By the way, we get a little shot of Jake getting the life force sucked out of him from a mosquito. Instead of
all
blood.
of his it's really like disgusting because Jake looks like a Draugr from Skyrim. And
I thought the swamp was pretty cool. I like to live in the Dark Souls 3 swamp.
yeah, Principal Pixie Frog lives in the fucking like Miyazaki swamp level. The From Software classic swamp level.
Yeah.
There's but like Jake squeezes the mosquito. He squeezes all of the life force back into himself, and I just think this is so like so awful. It's just such an awful concept of just like taking the blood back
from the mosquito.
Yeah.
And it's not blood because, of course, it's a kids show, but it's all orange. So it's like the color from his fur has been sapped from him.
Jesus.
So he
his life juice.
His life juice. He doesn't just have blood.
Jake Spider Monkey's essence.
But they're at the address. Wait, hold on. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say I like that also. Get a shot of Principal Pixie Frog's like address, like his mailbox. There's like a little bitty sign next to it that says Duck Crossing.
Yeah, that's adorable.
Welcome to the bachelor pad. It's just, I just kind of wonder, like, is this like swamp like really far away from civilization? Is it just kind of like a small little like pond bog area, maybe like in the city?
Maybe.
I really want to know where Principal Pixie Frog specifically lives.
I like the idea that he might just be out in the wilderness, but he's because he's a sapient creature and he lives here, he has to be a tax-paying citizen. So this random ass bog has a mailbox and is registered as an actual like property, even though he's getting, well, I guess he has a landline and television. So I guess he gets electricity here.
It looks to me that television may be running off of like the old my dad had like one of those like really old free channels, like you get free channels, like the antenna that you just put on the top of the bunny ears.
Mm-hmm.
Bunny ears, they call them. Like that actually, like, that doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't require any kind of like, it doesn't.
You mean
require
national
any kind...
TV?
Yeah, it's just national TV. Like,
but what about like a power source? Like, does it gotta get plugged into a wall or?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, but listen up.
Just plug into a book, man.
And then think about the power.
That's what I meant. That like, I find it funny and also a little dystopian that just like these random ass bogs where like these animals would live naturally are just like they're sectioned off with their own mailboxes and whatnot. They have electricity running through them so that these animals can like watch their shows and whatnot. They're actual tax-paying citizens, despite also being subjected to being zoo animals and whatnot.
Mm.
It's something to think about. Let's not think about it too long. Principal Pixie Frog is a mess.
He is covered in cheese.
Cheese bugs, which is
Yeah, his cheese has bugs.
Allie, when we were watching the episode, I remember you talking about this being a flattering picture.
Oh yeah, like he's like in the couch and he's just like, I don't know, he's cheese wasted, whatever, and like he grew a beard, and I thought like, wow, this will be like a tender picture for someone who wifed Principal Pixie Frog, but I don't know anyone who knows, so
just seeing this man just like
at his most powerless,
falling into his couch, eating his bucket of just cheesy bugs, whatever those may be.
ordering a lifelike doll on the shopping channel because he, quote, doesn't have any pollywogs of his own, so he wants his house to feel like a home.
He wants his house to be full of little feet, little fins.
yeah, you see, it feels like of the current trend of liking like pathetic men, it reminds me of like the new Spider-Man. Like you see, if you wife the new Peter B. Parker, you might find Principal Pixie Frog your type.
Well, that's a father.
No, that's a father.
No, that's a man that I would trust.
I don't know if I'd trust him so much, but
yeah, maybe I wouldn't either. I said that.
But Adam and Jake are trying to convince him to come back. He doesn't care that Principal Wolverine is telling the students to be in ship shape, tormenting them. It's like, that's good. Maybe you'll whip you whippersnappers into shape. And
maybe you millennials.
But then,
to make a doll.
Wait, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, I just said, maybe you millennials and what it's like to make a living the real way. To put some work into it.
But then Adam mentions that Miss Warthog is miserable. She's being worked. She's being told to work. And it's like, oh no, that's awful. But I'm still not leaving.
And he spits all of his cheese.
There's this one little part where he falls asleep and starts croaking for just a second. His belly starts shaking and making a little noise. And I'm not gonna say anything about it, but it really is just it's just something.
Don't. We're in the counselor's office. I'm not putting any more thought into that.
What do you mean?
We're in the counselor's office. Mr. Mandrill, he's talking with Adam and Jake. He's explaining that Principal Pixie Frog is in a rut right now. He's lost his raison d'etre. And Adam and Jake are like, what's that? Is that some sort of what is that? And Adam's like, I think it's a candy bar.
I think it's a candy. It's and then
he makes mention of the elephant grass again, reminding us of the landmark case. And then Adam gets an idea. He leaves. Jake is there. I was just gonna call him Maurice. Mr. Mandrill asks him, oh, Jake, do you have any ideas? He's just, nope.
None at all.
We cut back to Principal Pixie Frog. He's viewing the advertisements for some ab crunchers, and he's like, oh, good. They make one in child size. Little Abigail would love that.
Yeah, there's something quite disturbing to me about just like how quickly Principal Pixie Frog has managed to fall into like this like fake parent. This just like I need to be a provider, sort of like hole.
Well, are you not kind of a parent when you're a principal of a school?
I guess
Maybe.
so. I guess, you know, I didn't think like he saw the students like that, where he felt like a parent. But maybe that is a hole that was left from him being no longer being a principal. He needs to be a guiding figure.
He
And-
needs to have someone to like I guess look after.
Lecture, and so we see the call to action on the TV, breaking news, and there's a outbreak of elephant grass. None of the students can get into the school. Principal Wolverine can't even tell the grass to stop. He's like, Mr. Grass, you better stop growing, or I'm gonna have to bite you in the buttocks. That gets repeated throughout the show to remind you. And Adam and Jake, they're reading off of papers. And it's like, this is bad. I feel I am being neglected in my educational needs. If only Principal Pixie Frog were here, he wouldn't have let this happen.
They're just reading from like scripts as this is happening too.
And this brings Principal Pixie Frog into action. He takes off his fake beard and he darts off. He calls the herbivorous students into action, and he gives one of his classic speeches where you, the consumers, must eat the vegetation in order to liberate us from obtaining any other lawsuits and gain your freedom. And they're like, duh, we lost you after listen up, kiddies. He's like, eat the grass, just eat the grass, you dim bulbs.
Do as I command.
And then they quickly just eat all the elephant grass. That's that. That's that
Free
problem
food.
solved. Free food. Free education. Not free education, but they're going into school finally. Mr. Wolverine's confronts him. He's like, I didn't know you would come back. I thought you were at home in your pity party.
And then he calls him by name. Says maybe so. But
no, I think it was just calling him like a little nickname, like Wolverine. He just called him Reenie.
Rene.
But I did thought at first that he was just calling him like a name. I thought he was like mispronouncing my name. But no, I think it was just a nickname of Wolverine.
I felt as if Principal Pixie Frog was saying my name, was talking to me. But after like Principal Pixie Frog
mimics
talks
a
him off.
train. He's got his groove back. Principal Wolverine, he's like, well, I guess I'm not needed here. I gotta find a school where the prey fall in line, and he Mary Poppins out. He gets an umbrella and he flies out.
Just flies away.
It's funny.
And that's like basically the whole dang thing.
But we
Principal-
get an after credits scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After credits scene, like a credits scene where Principal Wolverine flying through the air, Mary Poppins style, in jolly old England. There's a shot of Big Ben there, He tells a seagull he's gonna bite him in the buttocks, and then he flies through a turbine and he's dead.
Yeah, he just gets completely maimed.
Guess we
It's
won't
not
be
even a joke, he's gone.
Yeah.
Guess
It's like,
guess we won't be seeing Wolverine in the MCU anytime soon, huh?
Amazing.
Why aren't you laughing?
Ah! Ah!
I get
Oh, I'm
it
laughing.
wasn't-
This is how I laugh.
I guess-
Ah!
I guess it wasn't funny. That's fine.
Oh.
But that's
Shut up, you. But yeah,
that's leave of absence.
Allie, what are your thoughts on, like, just this whole experience, these 2 episodes? Just quick thoughts.
my quick thoughts is it really feels like Adam Lyon is in purgatory in Silent Hill 2 or something. That's my quick thought. My second thought is I don't know, I don't, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but it's just like seeing this small monkey man just grab his wood on TV, name the episode Poop Scope, and I'm like, and then he played at the students just pooping newspapers. Like, is this common? Is this legal?
Well, that's the show for you. So, welcome to the show.
I'm really happy that you could experience this with us this week. I'm glad that you were able to survive.
Oh, and also oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say it's a big pill, and sometimes it's hard to swallow.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thought is hearing this stock music and hearing like Tom Kenny's voice makes me go like, God, I really wish I was watching SpongeBob.
Yeah.
God, that's a...
I think I've said this before, but this show really feels like it's Cartoon Network's answer to SpongeBob being really on the rise, but not really following through and just making something mediocre, sometimes pretty good, sometimes pretty bad. And we saw like both sides with like these last 2 episodes. We saw one that was pretty bad, a lot of poop jokes, a lot of just like secondhand frustrating embarrassment. But we also saw some nice character development for Principal Pixie Frog. We saw, an endearing character become pathetic and complacent. I think it was a nice adventure all around. We learned some things. Or maybe we didn't. We didn't learn anything.
We never learn anything. Not on this podcast.
Let's read some comments, huh?
Yeah.
Alright. First comment here, I'll read. It's from it's Seth JM, who did the art in our last episode of the little Jake Spider Monkey gif. That was nice. They write, seeing Henry Armadillo in the shower launched me back to the early 2000s. Good lord. I can hear his singing voice and I can already tell it's going to haunt me when I sleep tonight. Don't remember the mustache one though, but I'm not surprised the crew would use that episode archetype. To get very off topic from the episodes themselves, however, I've always wondered how you created your Sona designs. They feel like they fit right into the My Gym Partner's a Monkey cinematic universe, and they've got me a little inspired to draw some designs myself. Are there any specific techniques you use for them? Also, thank you for featuring my art I made for the pilot you reviewed. It's just very surreal seeing it mentioned, and I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. I am very fearful of Poop Scoop. As you should have been. As you should have been. But
yeah, it was a scary episode, it turns out.
But to answer your question, I actually, well, we had first, me Gert and Lucy, we came up with our ideas with it. I most certainly, as everyone knows, I'm an alligator in real life, so that was pretty easy to base myself off of.
Naturally, you live in Florida.
Naturally, because I live in Florida. Gert, is a sea bunny, one of those sea slugs.
I am naturally just a slimy little creature in real life, and I thought it would be disingenuous of me to be anything but. Lucy's a human.
I mean, Lucy's a bear, most closely related to the bear family, but to fit in with the show's theme, we had it so that Lucy would be the human of the podcast. So we can, the Adam line, if you will, so we could have that interplay, and it was for me like I did the designs for like all of us, the drawings you see, and it was kind of challenging to really like put us into that style. It's a very like 2D graphic style, but it was fun, and I think. I would love to see more people's my gym partners of Monkey Sonas. We've seen one person's before, and I'd love to see more.
I remember that when like Seep made an appearance here, I was given like a tiny reference of what his not for Sona was, and I was like, God, I'm so sorry to subject this little cute animal to the my gym partner monkey style.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how it feels, but I've really enjoyed the direction that like our art has taken, that you've done, Allie, with just like the way that our characters are just becoming more full and lively than the show could ever portray. Especially I'm a very big fan of what you've been doing with my slug.
I take a lot of liberties with girls not for Sona, that little sea slug. Like most of the time I just go off and I don't know, it's like a pseudo weird cat bunny thing.
It seems it's like my like little character keeps getting bigger and bigger, like more powerful.
She's outgrowing her bowl.
Yeah, she's getting too big for the ball.
Oh, but thank you for your comment. Let's speaking of Seep, before who wants to read Seep's comment here that I thought was interesting?
Where are
I don't know how to read.
They're a bit up above here. I'll repost them.
Are they in the voice text?
Yeah, they're in the voice text. I'll just repost the ones we need to see.
Yeah, alright. Speaking of Seep, so Painter CP says, the waxing legs joke I found to actually be a quite clever example of the show taking advantage of the fact that Henry and Jake share a voice actor. Definitely the highlight of the episode for me.
That I didn't even think about that, honestly, that they are the same voice actors. I keep forgetting. I've been rewatching a lot of old cartoons and rewatching some cartoons where Tom Kenny does a lot of voices. Mission Hill is one that like springs to mind. He really gets around, and like,
who was he in Mission Hill?
He was a lot of voices. He was what's his name? The lover for he was the gay man in Mission Hill. It was a lot of background voices, of course.
Since I only have experienced most of the time SpongeBob in Spanish, I only know Tom Kenny for voicing Starscream, so watching this show and hearing Jake Spider-Monk is like, God, that's Starscream.
God, I mean, they both have long, gangly arms. They're basically the same.
Maybe so.
Okay.
How about this next comment?
You want to read this one, Allie?
I read this. On the topic of 7-Eleven, as a resident of
Or
Tennessee,
who
I
said
can
it?
confirm that none exist here, and I'm fairly convinced that they don't exist anywhere else either.
It was written
Well,
by
I
Void
mean,
Weasel.
I live in Chile, and I have never seen a 7-Eleven in my whole life, so I cannot confirm or deny this claim, so I chose to take it as real. Maybe 7-Elevens are just figments of our imagination.
It could
And that
be.
comment was from Void Weasel.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I'm the only one here in this call right now that has been to a 7-Eleven. Then, so you know, it's 2-1 here. So I guess honestly, maybe my experience is fake. There are no 7-Elevens.
I've been to it twice daily, and I think that's 7-Eleven-y enough.
I have only heard of 7-Eleven through Animal Crossing collaborations.
And that's fair, because you can make the inside of your house look like a 7-Eleven, and how fun is that? Alright then.
And this one last reply from Twitter, I'm gonna read it. It's a long analysis of a nice whatchamacallit, real like essay done, and replies to our most recent episode that was tweeted out.
This is from Son of a Chipwitch, a friend of mine.
Jean-Paul Sartre wrote the play No Exit in 1944. In it, 3 people are trapped in a room together in hell, and they realize over the course of the play that they are to be each other's torturers. The play is the source of the quote, L'enfer c'est les autres. I guess, I don't know.
That's a French, alright.
This quote translates to, hell is other people, oft misunderstood. This line refers to Sartre's concept of the look. Broadly, the look is the moment of recognition within a person that they can be seen and thought of by others, which forces one to acknowledge exterior minds. Basically, you know what is in your own mind, and you know that other people have minds and have thoughts about you, but you can never know what those thoughts are. That uncertainty is hell, specifically Jake Spider-Monkey's hell. Jake, more than any other character on the show, is aware of the minds of others, but his own insecurity means that awareness is torturous. What must they think of him? Do they think badly? That possibility is unacceptable. That is why Jake takes every chance to hold an audience, to show off, and to manipulate others to his own will. If he cannot know what others think of him, then he must broadcast influence at all times, to make sure that others will think highly of him. Jake Spider-Monkey stares an uncaring, unknowable world in the face and cries, "See me! Know me! Love me! I am a funny monkey!" And of course, the look goes both ways, and so we cannot know if Jake truly cares for anyone else, or if he really even believes that he is a funny monkey. Brilliant analysis, Son of a Chipwitch, and you know, gotta applaud that one.
Yeah,
I knew this was purgatory.
Thank you for writing this. You know, it could be this is like making me think. Allie, you mentioned 2. You know how Silent Hill 2 has like multiple characters experiencing the hell of the town at once. There's, you know, and those like they're sort of like they're silent hills, they're monsters, they're demons, are all like kind of intersecting into one sort of like thing that encompasses like the torture of all of them. I think that could be happening. Like maybe this isn't just Adam Lyon's hell. Maybe it's Maybe it's Jake's as well.
Maybe my gym partner's a monkey is like an AU in which, like, the high school in Silent Hill 1. Maybe what if it's like, what if this high school, like, I mean, not the high school, like the school in Silent Hill 1 was an animal school?
It was abandoned, so they started putting fucking animals in the school in Silent Hill. Animals just started living in it because there's no people around anymore.
Oh man, but I really do enjoy that analysis, and I think there could have been more discussion about like how Jake fared in this episode, especially with him like being outed as having implants and whatnot. But
what a revelation.
But I think we'll have more opportunity to discuss that, or maybe not. Next episode, in the episodes I Fear Pretties and Magic Fish, which, anything could happen with those, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember the Magic Fish episode at all. But
I have a memory of the Magic Fish.
And we'll see. Ali, thank you again for joining us on the podcast while Lucy was away. Lucy, I hope you're enjoying your time, and can't wait for you to get back to these episodes. And we'll see you all later. Thank you all so much for watching My Gym Partners, a podcast.
We'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe not.
Thank you for joining us again, Allie. I'm Gert.
I'm Renee.
I'm me.
And this has been My Gym Partners, a podcast. See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.